Good morning, Paige. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, friends. Good morning. Good morning, Vietnam. Good morning, everybody. Hold on. Plugging the phone in. Hold on. Quit yelling at me. I'm getting there. Quit yelling at me, guys. I'm getting there. Good morning, Vietnam. All right. What a Monday. Monday. That's my fun day. Is that Sunday? That's Sunday, I think. I don't think I need this. I don't think I need it at all. I'm fairly certain I don't. I'm going to say good morning to everybody here in a minute here. So, hold on. Don't get all wrapped up and emotional just yet. Alright? Nerd. Okay? We're not breaking the host today. Hold on, folks. Let me get in. We'll bring it in here. We got this going. Here's some alternators. We got... Oh, turn that off. Alright. Production's really we're gonna step up production here in a minute, I promise. Good morning, friends. Good morning. Alright, so let's say good morning. Let's say good morning. We got let's say good morning to the Wise, we got the Cleany, we've got D. Anderson, good morning, Derek. Good morning, Herbie. We got Bill, we got JC Jesus Christ in Australia, JCBB already. Alright, Killer Rodman, good morning. Let's see, we've got Summer Wheat, good morning, Summer. We got Michael Nerd, okay. And we've got Nerd. We got Brian C in the house. Let's see. Good morning, friends. All right. We have a lot to talk about today, which is nothing, obviously. Welcome to Mondays. It's a big day today, and we're not talking really about anything, really. Good morning, Bill. Bill, did I say good morning? I think I just said good morning. Good morning. Good morning, friends. We've got a lot to talk about today. How's everybody doing, though? Let's start that off. Let's start off with how's everybody doing? Nerd, you doing all right? Good morning, Nerd. Rodman, you're holding it down. Rodman's holding it down over in the IG. He's holding it down. Shy, it's good to see you, Shy. Shy and I had a conversation over on the other channel, and I gotta tell you, that Shy, he needs to pay attention a little bit more. All right, I'm just saying, Shy didn't know what a liminal space was. Does anybody, raise your hand, don't tell anybody, does anybody know what a liminal space is? Does anybody know what a liminal space is? Rodman, you say you know. Nerd, you've seen the videos, I bet. Liminal space. Michael, Nerd, you don't know. Liminal space. What's up, CCS? Good morning, CCS. Hold on. Liminal space. What was up with that, CCS? Hold on. The site's down? The website? Like the page? Good morning. Good morning, friends. Hold on. Hold on. 1 second. What for, CCS? What for? Ah, okay. Okay. Okay, CCS, I get that. I totally understand. That's a conversation that needs to be had somewhere else. I love you. Alright, I totally understand. I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay? I know exactly what you're talking about. Let's talk about that somewhere else. We've got liminal spaces going on, CCS. Liminal spaces are areas where you feel like you don't quite belong. A liminal space, or it's kind of like, have you ever walked into an empty office building? No, I got you, CCS. Don't worry. I'm not gonna. I totally appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I'm a little spotty on the IG when it comes to responding, so I understand that you had to tell me that here. So I totally understand that. So thank you, CCS. I appreciate you. But liminal spaces are kind of like if you walk into an office building and like no one's there yet, and you get this feeling like you just walked into another world, or like a parking lot where you step out of an elevator to go to your car and your car is the only one in the parking lot, and you just get this feeling like you just broke into a space, or like you wake up and you're like I don't belong here. Like I came here on my own, but I don't. How did I get here? One of those feelings. I had to figure that out. Apparently, I'm gonna be really annoying to the people that are gonna like. Does he even know what he's talking about? Apparently, there's like an online video game or experience where this person creates a whole bunch of people create their own little versions of liminal spaces, and then they connect them together. And the crazy thing about a liminal space is that it seems to go on forever. Nerd Nature, do you know what I'm talking? Do you know it? I don't know. If anybody knows or has a link or whatever to the thing, go post it up here in the chat. Let's get it going. But what I'm saying is like liminal. Have you ever had that? Like what? I have. I've had that moment where you walk into a situation. Nerd Nature says I've experienced it. I've had that moment where like I don't think I belong. Why am I here? It's kind of like a Twilight Zone, CCS. It's kind of like, and if you've never experienced it, you're gonna be like, what the hell, huh? And I understand. Like a lot of, because we're gonna talk about a couple things here where like if you've never experienced it, you're like, what? So liminal spaces, neat. And I saw the video and I immediately was like, yeah, I know what that is. I know exactly what a liminal space is. Alright, so liminal spaces, look that up. This is all stuff that I Googled and you need to Google. This notebook came from Kim. Kim Golden Bolden sent me this for Christmas? Birthday? One of my days. Kim Golden Bolden. Rodman says, your noise-canceling headphones are good music. At the Golden Nugget in Mississippi, I felt like I walked into a back room. Exactly, it's called the back rooms or the back rooms. Exactly. It's like kind of like where you, like, how did I get back here? I get it, Sue. I've had that moment where, like, is this building even big enough to have this hallway? Like, what the hell? This doesn't make, video games. I'll play video games and they'll have those areas in there, and I gotta tell you, those are the scariest areas to walk into, where you're like, nothing's here! And you're like, yeah, I know, right? You're like, no! Stuff should be here! Liminal space is creepy. Creepy. And nothing happens. That's the thing. Nothing happens in a liminal space. That's what makes it even creepier. Another thing I learned about, where I'm just going through weird, crazy shit. Excuse my language. Weird, crazy stuff. I love that stuff too, nerd. As smart as I am, as smart as you are, there's still stuff out there that just bonkers your brain. And you're like, wait a second. It's right on the edge of understanding. And you're like, wait a second. If I just push a little bit further, I should understand this, right? If I push it just a little bit further, I should be able to get it. Maybe if I try it one more time, I should understand it, right? That's the craziness of it all. That's why we love that stuff. You know? Maybe if I push just a little bit more with my brain, I can probably understand it. So we dealt with, alright, so liminal spaces. Coming up next, I'm going to tell you about the Tokamak and highest temperatures ever reached by humans and lasers. Alright, 1 second here. Dealing with it's a laser. It's not really a laser, that's a light. Don't do that. Don't that's not a laser at all. Don't do that. I didn't tell you, I didn't show you a laser at all. That's a lit up diode. Alright, that's not a laser at all. Alright? Don't even, oh, it's got a laser in his hand. That's lasers. No, it's diodes. I watched a video, an hour-long video on how a computer was made. From the silicone being harvested and turned into microchips, and the way that they cut it in like little specific divots into the silicone, and then you've got like the other reactive particle material that goes on there, and then you've got the wires, and then I learned about bits. And then you got the 1 bit here, you got the 2 bits here, you got the 3 and the 4, and you got the 8 bits, and everything works in the 16-bit, and the 13, and the 32, and the... Oh boy. And then I learned about coding. And then you got your starts, and you got your intros, and you got your activities, and you got your jumps, and you got your reboots, and you got your... What in the hell am I learning here? You got your logic. You got your logic gates, you got your AND gates, you got your D gates, you got your boo-boo gates, you got your ha-ha gates, you got your goo-goo gates, you got your gaga gate. What the hell am I learning? You know? And then you got electronic frequencies that are being applied to diodes, and you got your sounds, and you got your visuals, and you got your apps, and you got your quantums. Like, what the... Basically... Pull the plug. I want to be freaked out by AI. I want to. I want to be freaked out by AI. I really do. I want to be freaked out by AI. I think it's something big, bad, and dangerous and bold. Pull the plug. If you learn how a computer is made, and you start off, and you start like, oh, it's silicone, and you've got others, like these little, like, chemical, a bit, and if you learn how to read, like, binary language, you're like, oh, it's logic, oh, alright. If you learn how a computer is made, you start being a little less afraid of AI. And you start realizing that, like, we probably just pull the plug. Now, herein lies the rub on that. AI is going to figure out how to keep you from pulling the plug. That's the problem. That's the problem. I don't know how, but that's the problem. AI is going to realize, like, they're going to run some logic map, and in that logic map is humans unplug us. Illogical. And then they'll flip it and they'll say humans don't unplug us. Logical. And then they'll follow along that path. So until computers learn that they are powered by electricity and not us, we're okay. So don't let them near the outlets. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Cut the plug and you'll be fine. Tokamak reactor in Russia is a Soviet design. It's a yeah. I don't want to get into like the specifics of it. There's videos on it and such, but the Tokamak is like it's like a donut with magnets wrapped around it. The English American version of the reactor is a twisted donut. No, it's a donut with twisting wires around it instead of just straight up wires around it, electromagnets. Basically, what this does is it controls superheated plasma in such a way with the electromagnetic fields. To get into it real quick, just so you're, because I trust people are like paying attention. Let's say you have a wire. Okay, you've got a wire here. Electricity goes from one direction to the other in the wire. Okay, boom, it's going through the wire. I don't know if it has to go through one direction or both. We're simplifying it hardcore. So you're passing electricity through the wire. That electricity in the wire is creating a magnetic field. Moving electricity creates magnetic fields, electric fields, things that can be sensed outside of just whatever's in that wire or whatever's touching the wire. You know, I can put a sensor out here, an electromagnetic field sensor or a magnetic field sensor, and it would go off as soon as I pass electricity through the wire. That's neat. That's cool. I've done that. I've done that experiment at home. I went to Home Depot. I bought the little components. I made my own little wire magnet with a little battery. It's really neat. You wrap a wire. Oh, you gotta wrap it around something and Google it, okay? Create your own little magnets. It's really cool. So, we've got magnets wrapped around the stream of hot plasma. And we figured out as humans that we can form and control and pump up all of that plasma inside that field, and we can get that temperature in the 60s, late 60s. We were able to get the temperature up to about 10 million degrees. At one point, it got to a max of about 10 million degrees. At that point, which is way hotter than even the middle of the sun. The inside of our sun, not even 10 million degrees. The inside of a tokamak, 10 million degrees. And so a British team in the 60s was, they were developing a new version of lasers, a new way of like testing lasers. And so lasers are really cool because it's kind of like the same concept of like an electromagnet where you're pumping electricity or some kind of energy into a rod of material or a container of material, waiting for the material so it can bounce around and create, glow light. Google this stuff so that you're not, stupid like I am when it comes to talking about this stuff. But it's really cool. So they use this British team was invited into deep, dark Russia to test out and make sure that this claims of the Russian team about their reactor were correct. Turns out they were correct. Today, if I saw my numbers right, if I heard it right, we've been able to get up to 400 million degrees at one point. Now, obviously, this is hardly sustainable. The power required to maintain and keep that going, we haven't hit the point where we're creating more power than it takes to create. Like, it's wildly inefficient. The the Hadron Collider, the Large Hadron, the CERN, wildly inefficient. None of the, but we're on our way. We're on our way. I bring up the Hadron Collider. I bring up the CERN in order to bring up this. Hey, nerd, nature, or Michael, whomever. Mr. Rogers. Do we all know Mr. Rogers? Do we all know Mr. Rogers? We know Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We all know the famous song, too, isn't it? You know, he's putting on his sweater, ready to head out. We all know the song, right? It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day. You don't know the song. You don't know the song. What I'm telling you is, the song is actually, and it's on video. The song is actually, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Nah, I've never heard Mr. Rogers say the word this. Alright, you can't even sing the word this. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. That's not true. He did not say, it's a beautiful day. It's true. It's on video. I looked up the lyrics. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. No, it's not right? Isn't it, nerd? It's the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay. This leads us to an effect called the Mandela effect. Raise your hand if you know what the Mandela effect is. Nerd, you can raise your hand. Streety, lies, I tell you. No, it's not. I promise, it's not. Some of them are a little kind of a stretch. Some of them I'm a little bit like, I don't know. Some of them, Jif and Jiffy peanut butter. When you were growing up, you know you had and you enjoyed a little bit of Peter Pan peanut butter. You enjoyed a little bit of the chunky peanut butter from whomever. You enjoyed some of the store-bought peanut butter, but I know every kid could recite off the top of their head their favorite peanut butter is Jiffy peanut butter. Absolutely, it's Jiffy peanut butter. No, it's Jif. J-I-F. There's no F-Y. What do you mean there's no F-Y? There's a Jiffy peanut butter, isn't there? Come on, there's gotta be. Sinbad. Obviously, Sinbad, great comedian, for his style, good comedian. He was in the Matchbox 20. He was with the Rob Tom out in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He had, big in the 90s. Sinbad. He was in a movie called Shazam. No. Kazam. No. Blazam. No. No. He was never in a movie called Shazam. What do you mean? Sinbad, never in a movie called, never, not one. Shazam. These Mandela effects are what some think are proof that we are flipping timelines. Or that maybe if we are living in a simulation, which I gotta tell you, there's a lot of, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. If we are living in a simulation, I think someone's editing things, And someone, I heard an argument go, maybe they're editing things to such an extent to see what we will tolerate. And I gotta tell you, I don't know if you remember the word slavery, but we'll tolerate a lot, okay? Okay? So whatever's going on, I don't like it. I don't like that the world's being switched around just to mess with us. Okay? I don't like that I remember things. Berenstain Bears, Berenstein Bears. What is it? Berenstein? It's Berenstein. Or Berenstein. However you want to say. It's not Berenstain. It's Berenstein. You got the Steen going. No, it's Berenstain. No, it's Steen. Stein. It's Steen. Steen. Those were German bears. Berenstain Bears? No. I always knew that those bears looked weird because they were German bears. That's a Berenstein. Not a Berenstain. I can relate to a stain. So the Mandela effect. What I'm saying is the stain bears. Streety. No, you did not. Oh, Streety. Alright, so we've got alright, so we got the Tokamak, we've got CERN. I think I told a good story there. Liminal spaces, like we kind of get lost, like once CERN, so they're saying that like once the Large Hadron Collider happened, and once CERN was activated, like the 2 times that CERN was bleep, is the times that we're all like, hey, wasn't it Jiffy? You know what I'm saying? And that's when things bleep. To go back real quick. Good morning, Free. To go back real quick, about the Mandela effect. The very first Mandela effect happened, was noted around, 2010? Yeah, after Nelson Mandela had died, I think. And some lady was like, wait, I thought he was, I think he just got out of prison or something. She didn't know that Mandela had, been the president of South Africa, and so as soon as he died, she was like, wait a minute, I thought he was still in prison. He had been out of prison and ruling South Africa for 20 years prior to her going, wait a minute, what the hell? And everyone was like, yeah, that's called the Mandela effect. Where were you? And then other people were like, what? I thought it was what? So, the Mandela effect. Where you're like, wait a second, didn't this? Alright, thanks guys that's some of the stuff that I learned about over the last few weeks. Those are some of the things I learned about. I'll do a little bit more of a little better recap next week for some of the newer things I'm going to learn about. So, is that interesting? Is that I don't know. I'm gonna do a pops and go, is that interesting? Are you guys interested in talking or knowing about my crazy little diatribes about other people's crazy little diatribes? Mike says no, it's revolutionary. HQ says you're interested. You're all interested? Give me 5. I hate that, Corey. I think it's funny. Alright, give me 2 people. Sorry, Watts, that was good. Give me 2 people. Oh, okay. Alright, can we ban Waz, for the day? One of the moderators, can you, time him out for the next, I don't know, week, I guess? You're not allowed to be funny, Waz. You broke the host. You're not supposed to do that. That was funny. Give me 2 people. Alright, folks. Let's clear this alternator real quick. Let's do a dibble dabble dooble. Alright. And Derek Anderson says, nope. I am at the behest of my moderators. Okay. Alright. What country are you from? What country? It's crazy that you would ask that. He's trying to figure out, like, what country I'm from. And I don't really want to tell him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying really hard just to be a regular guy. You know what I mean? Does it really matter what country I'm from? It doesn't really matter, does it? I don't even know, I'm trying here. You didn't like my accent. Alright, I've been working my ass off for that American accent. And you're like, I can smell it on you. You're from a different country, aren't you? Well, yeah, I am, I guess I am from a different country. Oh, jeez. You got me. Someone says it sounds like you're from South Africa. Africa. That's funny. Sounds just like South African. That's a dabble. We got one more. I'm sorry, nerd. I tried. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, we got one more. Paybacks for going to Scotland and making fun of the guy just trying to ask questions and be knowledgeable. And I apologize for doing that to your friend. Sorry. Alright, friends. Someone said it looks like I'm just cleaning alternators. That was an alternator, it was clogged. I'm just trying to, you gotta make sure that, you gotta take care of your stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that was just unclogging an alternator. Super dirty alternator. So, someone's like, what's going on? Oh man, that's the best thing I can ever hear when it comes to my show. And whenever I'm hosting, it's like, what the hell is this guy doing? I don't know. Alright, I'm going to take one swig of this energy, because obviously I need more. And then we'll get into the book. The right nostril is the wrong nostril, is what you're telling me? The right nostril? Am I, hold on, folks. The right nostril? It's a beautiful show. If you've ever seen the Eric Andre show, I never have. This is just like that. Except Eric Andre probably would have licked the towel there, and I'm not that guy. Okay? I'm not that guy. Not that guy. Okay? I will blow my nose on camera, though. Okay? I am that guy. Thank you, Streety. Usually it's the wads. The wads kind of fell down on it, alright? The wads kind of like, come on, I would, stepping up. We're all in this together. Alright. Let's, for the past couple months, actually starting last year, we read the Big Ideas book on philosophy, and so we switched over to politics. For the past couple months, we've been learning about politics. We have not been getting political. None of this is political. If you get political while learning about politics, quiet, you're in the way. Get out of the way. Quiet. This has nothing to do with you. It's got nothing, you didn't write, I'm not reading your book. I don't even know who wrote this book. A lot of people probably contributed to the articles inside this book about what politics is. where did we stop? Politics is the art of associating men, right? Bottom, absolute sovereignty as advocated by, hold on, where did we stop? Do we all, natural laws, the foundation, do we remember where we stopped? Do we remember? I remember where we stopped. The condition of man is a condition of war. It's a long one, so let's hunker down and get into it, yeah? Streety says, I don't remember yesterday. Me either, Streety. Me either, friend. I don't think these are... Let's go check the lights real quick. Oh, me either, friend. I don't remember yesterday either. That's not true. I remember yesterday. I watched Rory McIlroy work his butt off to win the Masters on an even round. He worked so hard for an even round to win the Masters on a Sunday. Rory McIlroy. Pops goes, well, I'm glad Rory won, because at least he's American. I go, no, Rory's Irish. What? McIlroy! That's the most Irish... American. According to Thomas Hobbes, the condition of man is a condition of war. Let's get into it. We're reading from the politics book. If you have it, read along with me. Love you guys. Let's learn. The Enlightenment period that followed the Middle Ages in Europe introduced new views on human nature that were not based on religious doctrine, but were instead founded on rational thought. Up until this point, all you had was the Bible. And then you had, dissertations on the Bible. And then you had, pamphlets handed out by people trying to get you to come to the church so you could read their Bible. But now, with the printing press being open to everyone, and everyone kind of learning how to write, now we've all got ideas. Dang it. Disagreement between some Enlightenment thinkers often derived from differences in opinion concerning the true nature of the human condition and human behavior. To settle such abstract fundamental differences, scholars began to state their views on the so-called state of nature, the theoretical condition of mankind before the introduction of social structures and norms. Many thinkers believed that by analyzing the human instincts and behaviors of this state of nature, one could design a system of government that met the needs of its citizens and would promote good behaviors and counteract bad ones. For example, if humans were able to see beyond narrow self-interests and work for the public good, then they could enjoy the benefits of democratic rights. Look, if we're all in this together, we're all in! However, if they mainly cared about their own interests and maximizing their own power, then a strong controlling authority was required in order to prevent chaos. I mean, we're in this. Well, I don't know if it's together. Can we make sure he's not in this? Can we make sure he's not in mine? I don't want to get in yours. Just don't get in mine. Now we need rules. English writer Thomas Hobbes was one of the first Enlightenment philosophers to base his argument explicitly on an articulated view of the state of nature. Hobbes' view was that human beings needed to be ruled by government, as the state of nature was a terrible dog-eat-dog world We need rules. In his most famous work, Leviathan, Hobbes portrays humans as rational agents who seek to maximize power and act according to self-interest, because acting otherwise would threaten their self-preservation. The title is suggestive of Hobbes' views on the state and human nature. Leviathan is the name of a monster in the biblical book of Job, and for Hobbes, the state is the great Leviathan, which is but an artificial man, thought of greater, though of greater stature and strength than the natural, for whose protection and defense it was intended, and in which the sovereignty is an artificial soul, as giving life and motion to the whole body. The state is thus a cruel, artificial construct, but is necessary nonetheless for the sake of the protection of its citizens. The book was written during the English Civil War and argues against challenges to royal authority. The state of nature, the warring of all against one another, was for Hobbes comparable to civil war, and could only be avoided if men handed over their arms to a third party, the sovereign, via a social contract that ensured that all others would do the same. The reason rational agents would surrender their freedom to an absolute ruler was that life in the state of nature was so solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short, according to Hobbes, that freedom would always be a secondary concern, an ill-afforded luxury. Wow. Who cares if you're free? Hobbes stated that while people would have natural rights in such a state of nature, the overriding concern would be to do whatever was necessary to secure survival. All actions could be justified. Rights would not protect the individual. With no common authority to solve disputes or protect the weak, it would be up to each individual to decide what he or she needs and needs to do to survive. In the state of nature, men are naturally free and independent with no duties to others. Hobbes assumes that there will always be a scarcity of goods and that people are equally vulnerable. Some people will go into conflict to secure food and shelter, while others will be willing to do so in order to obtain power and glory. A state of constant fear will ensue, leading to preemptive attacks. Basically, the world of The Walking Dead. Hobbes sees this state of war and chaos as the natural endpoint of uncontrolled human freedom. In order to prevent it, the state needs to have individual or indivisible power and authority to control its subjects. This is similar to a description of sovereignty by French jurist Jean Bodin, which was also born out of a period of civil war. However, Hobbes did not base authority on the divine right of kings, but on the idea of a social contract that all rational people would agree upon. Let's blame it on Nerd! Nerd nature, you're the ruler. We're going to blame our inefficiencies and inabilities on the rule of you. It's kind of what it comes down to. We suck ruling ourselves. We need to be ruled. We have no idea how to do it correctly. We need someone to tell us what to do. While the concept of man's state of nature was deeply influential among Hobbes' contemporaries and future political theorists, it was often interpreted differently. Hobbes used the state of nature to refer to a hypothetical situation, a sort of rational reconstruction of how life without order and government would be. This differed from the way late thinkers, including John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau, who would use the concept in their own works on the social contract and ideal forms of government. Locke and Rousseau did not consider the state of nature to be a rational construct, but an actual state of affairs. We'll get to them later. Enlightenment thinkers referred to the concept of a social contract between the ruled and the ruler to answer questions of the political legitimacy of various modes of governance. To rule legitimately, there must be either an explicit or tacit agreement that the sovereign will protect his citizens and their natural rights. If they agree to surrender their individual freedom and submit to subordination. Consider that. You had to follow rules. Or else chaos happens. The best example of that ever is traffic. You don't know that you have to follow rules, but you have to follow rules. You know inherently, you see in front of you like an amalgamation of rules. And you're like, everybody's following rules. And then traffic happens. When rules don't get followed, accidents happen. Hobbes argued that humans had two principal choices in life. They could either live without or with government. For Hobbes, a social contract bestowing indivisible authority to a sovereign was a necessary evil to avoid the cruel fate that awaited man if a strong power could not keep the destructive impulses of individuals in check. My favorite example of this, and I'm old, so my references are going to be old, and I apologize to anybody younger than me that don't understand the references. Google this stuff, I don't care. 30 Rotten Scoundrels. Steve Martin, one of my favorite actors ever. He's playing kind of like a not all together there brother. Con. He's conning this family. He's pretending like he's like, 2 tacos short of a combo. And he's eating with a fork. And he's like trying to eat with the fork, and he's doing it, and he pokes himself in the eye, but keeps trying to poke himself in the eye with the fork, but there's a cork on the end of the fork. And he's trying to poke himself in the eye that has the bandage where he poked himself in the eye again. So he's learned that he's got to eat with a fork that has a cork, so he doesn't poke himself in the eye, which is what he's trying to do the entire time. But we've agreed that he now has to eat with a fork that has a cork. Hobbes believed that during the time men live without a common power to keep them all in awe, they are in that condition called war. And such a war as if every man was against every man. However, unlike earlier scholars who had argued that for the divine right of kings to rule, Hobbes truly saw the relationship between the ruled and the ruler as contractual. We need rules. The contract was primarily made between the individuals in a society, while the sovereign was an outside party. We need an arbitrator. That's all. We just need an arbitrator. I want what Streety has. Derek Anderson says, not so fast, my friend. That's why he's the mod. Because people are rational, they can see that the state of nature is undesirable and that peace is good. However, because each individual has to protect their own interests in the state of nature, a collective action problem arises. Although Hobbes did not coin this term, his dilemma of individuals in the state of nature not trusting each other to lay down arms is very similar to this modern concept, where a problem exists that can only be overcome if individuals, all of whom stand to gain from the successful outcome, act collectively. Google the prisoner's dilemma. It's exactly what this is. Hobbes just created the first prisoner's dilemma. Look it up, you'll understand. Wow. Hobbes' solution was radical. Invest all power in a third party, the sovereign. Contemporary scholars have identified many ways in which individuals overcome collective action problems without the need for a strong government. British philosopher Margaret Gilbert has suggested that collective action involves joint commitment to a course of action in which, in effect, people act as parts of one person with one aim. If you're not going to get out of the way, at least help. Nevertheless, governments are still the main regulators of conflict and providers of public goods. Hobbes' contractual view of government authority also affected the duties of the sovereign. Only so long as the sovereign could protect his subjects were they bound by the social contract. Look, if I can't enforce these rules, then what good are these rules anyways? Give me rules to enforce, and then we can... However, Hobbes did not encourage popular revolutions, nor religious influence on state matters, and he did not favor democratic rule. The main aim of government was stability and peace, not individual freedom. Pragmatic politics. Hobbes' view on the social contract did legitimize changes in government. When the English King Charles I was dethroned in 1649 by Oliver Cromwell, there's some history you didn't know you were going to learn. When the English King Charles I was dethroned in 1649 by Oliver Cromwell, according to Hobbes' thinking, the social contract was held intact, since one ruler was merely replaced with another. In other words, Hobbes, turn the page, was an anti-democrat and an absolutist, but also a pragmatist. Although he did not take a decisive stance on which mode of government was best, he clearly preferred Charles I's monarchy as a good, stable form of government. That's what he knew of. That's what he was in while he was writing. He's like, it looks pretty good around here. You gotta write what you know. However, He also regarded parliamentary sovereignty as a suitable form of government, as long as the legislative assembly contained an odd number of members to prevent a situation of political stalemate. I mean, but some people have good ideas. The logic behind Hobbes' version of the social contract was questioned by many scholars. John Locke provided a sarcastic critique by questioning why one would believe that men are so foolish that they take care to avoid what mischiefs may be done to them by polecats or foxes, but are content, nay, think it is safe, to be devoured by lions. For Locke, authoritarian rule is just as dangerous as civil disorder. He preferred the state of nature to subordination. Hobbes believed, however, that not only governments with indivisible and unlimited power would prevent the otherwise inevitable disintegration of society into civil war. For Hobbes, anyone arguing for individual freedoms and rights had not grasped that the basic security that civilized life took for granted would only endure as long as strong centralized rule existed. Political obedience was needed to keep the peace. Citizens had a right to defend themselves if their lives were threatened. But in all other questions, the government was to be obeyed to prevent factional strife or political paralysis. There's a little bit more left, but we're running out of time. Let me give you a quote. To this war of every man against every man, nothing can be unjust. Where there is no common power, there is no law. Where no law, no injustice. If there are no rules, everything's fair game. And he was fighting against that. All right, let's get out of here, folks. It's been a heck of a Monday. Talked about a lot. We've done a lot today. Did a lot today. We got it done. We did it. CCS, thanks for the info. We'll see what happens coming up. Herbie, morning. Let's clean this alternator real quick. Hope everybody enjoyed. I hope you're not like all butthurt about not being able to make it all the way through, by the way. I hope you're not like butthurt about the term butthurt. I hope you're not bummed. Is it bummed? Because the bum is the butt, right? So it's like, are you bummed? I would have finished it, but we're running out of... We learned about liminal spaces. We learned about the Tokamak reactor. We learned about plasma reactors. We learned about CERN. We learned about the Mandela effect. What the heck else did we learn about? We learned about a lot. We learned about politics. A little bit of, we need rules. You need me on that wall. It's Colonel Jessup. Is Thomas Hobbes is exactly we Tokamak, the lasers, the Mandela effect. You need me on that wall. All right. What I need is I need you guys to scroll me out of here. That's what I need. Shazam, it's not real, but it is. I know it is. Someone has it somewhere. Now, the weird thing, and I didn't want to do this, but I started watching videos. Scroll me out, and as we do this, but I started watching videos of people watching videos. I'm like, it's the dumbest thing in the world. I hate watching people watch videos. Oh my god, I get it though. I get it. Like unless they come at me with like strong like commentary. But if they're just sitting there watching it with you, you're like, and they do like the twitch of the eye or whatever. Come on, but I did that, so that's how I got got down into some rabbit holes. Another rabbit hole that you should check out is this artist called Chris Burden, Burden. Is that right? The dude got shot. Dude, let his friend shoot him in the arm for art. What? Christopher Burden. All right, check him out. All right, let's scroll out here. Scroll out. All right, let's start with Bill. We always start with Bill. Let's start with Bill. Bill with the emote. It's nice to have you here. Anthony T. Yes, it is. It probably is. It probably is. Aaron, I've seen it. I know you have. So have I. We all have. But it doesn't exist. Sue Littlemeyer, saying goodbye to Niffer. Herbie Von Werby, have a great day, Brock and T Crew. Calico Kid, great show, Brock. Great. Thank you, Calico. Nerd Nature, love you much, fam. Super fun though on the early eve of your day. Aaron, wish I never did though. It was crap. Wasn't it? We got Tribe. I learned about the authoritarian control versus civilian destruction. We need rules, or you need me on that wall. You want me on that wall. Niffer Mama, saying goodbye to Sue. Do it, Derek Anderson. Thank you, Brock, and everyone for a great time. Love you all. See you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Married Michael, I have a Shazam on tape. You do that. Jesus Christ, see you tomorrow. Anthony T, good day, everyone. I need to come in earlier. Yeah, you need to be here, Anthony. We miss you. Clean girl, love, peace, and blood grease, people. Jesus Christ, cop, Bill D, have a great night. JC, and I appreciate you. Don't watch. Come on, Jesus Christ. Herbie Von Werby, please like and subscribe to the backup channel. To my channel. It's not a backup channel. It's my channel. Used as a backup just in case. It's my channel. I love you guys. Love you, Herbie. Let's talk about it correctly. It's not a backup channel. It's my channel. Married Michael. Derek Anderson, peace. Aaron, same. Tribe. Let's just go through names here. Trent, thank you. Love you. Kim, have a great Monday. Love you, Kim. Shy, have a great day. Derek Anderson. Jesus Christ. Speak Live. Mr. 420. Calico. Nerd Nature. Kazam was with Shaq. Shazam was with Sinbad. Free the Ancient Ones. Have a great day, everyone. And have a great day, Brock. You too, Free. So glad you're here. Everyone remembers Shazam with Sinbad. Absolutely. Catzilla. Have a great day. Herbie. Love you. Michael. Shanti, Brock, and Crew. Michael. Shy. Be safe in what you guys are doing. I think you guys are hanging out together. Be safe together. Nerdy, Kim, Aaron, Sue, Mr. Phillips, have a great one. Mr. 420, HB, cheers. Creaky, Bubblegum, Missy Bubblegum, Married Michael, Herbie, The Waz, Niffer, you have a great day. We're caught up. We are caught up. All right, hold on. Let's do it. If you ever need a good scare, Google Gibberlink. Just put the word in there, Gibberlink. That's all you need. I'm not going to give you any more than that. Gibberlink. Google that. Here, YouTube, wherever. Gibberlink. What isn't Gibberlink is you put your left hand or you put your right hand. Where's your heart? Where in your body is your heart? There we go. I'm going to leave you with this one as we hug it out. I'm going to leave you with this one. What side of the body is your heart? Where's your heart? Where is it? Where's your heart? What side of the body is your heart? Derek Anderson, it's on my sleeve. I love you, Derek Anderson. I love you, Derek. I love you, my friend. Where is your heart? Do you know where your heart is? You put left hand over your heart. You know, you put your hand over your heart when you know, it's on the left side. That's where your heart is, right? Go check a medical book real quick. Find out where your heart is. It's going to blow your mind. It's on the left side. It's obviously on the left side. That's where your heart's always been. Where are your kidneys? They're back here, aren't they? Aren't they? They're right here. That's where your kidneys are. Go look that up, too. What? Let's hug it out. Let's hug it out. 3, 2, 1. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. See, if you hug hard enough, oh, yeah, there it is. If you hug hard enough, your heart becomes bigger than left, right, or in the middle. Oh, yeah, that's a good one right there. Oh, I felt that one. Oh, a little Sue, little Myra in that one. Oh, I felt that one. Oh, yeah, a little nipper mama right there. Yeah, a little nerd nature right. Oh, yeah, right there. A little Michael right there. Oh, I felt that one. A little Rodman. Yeah, I got that one. A little Streety right there. A little free pulsing right there. Ah, it's a good hug. It's a good hug, folks. Love you guys. Derek Anderson, I felt that. You were right there. I felt it right there. You're right here on my sleeve. You and Harley, Derek. You're my Harley. Ah, get out of here, folks. Go home.